The grasses swayed in waves, whispering tales of courage and dreams. Through the fading light, the meadow's last colors faded, until only the fire and the stars remained to mark the world's edges. The falconer's cloak, dark against the glow, stirred faintly in the night wind. He sat close by you, his presence steady, his voice unhurried. "The night is long," he whispered, "but never lonely. Every rustle, every call, every shimmer above is a companion." You noticed it then, the hush of grass bending, the distant croak of a frog near a hidden stream, the faint tick of embers shifting in the stone circle. Each sound felt carefully placed, like notes in a lullaby. The falcon, now resting fully, had drawn one wing around herself. Her golden eyes closed, and her breathing slowed until she, too, seemed woven into the stillness. The fire sputtered merrily, sending sparks spiraling upwards to join the stars. It was a night for stories, and the falconer, with a smile crinkling his eyes, began another tale. His voice was as smooth as silk, drawn slowly from the spindle. "They say the very first falconer was not a man at all, but a shepherd boy. One evening, as he watched his flock upon the hills, a great bird descended from the sky, fierce and radiant. The boy did not run, though the others fled. Instead, he knelt, holding out his bare hand. To everyone's astonishment, the bird alighted upon it. She bowed her head as though to greet him. From that night on, she followed him. The shepherd's sheep were never again troubled by wolves, for the bird kept watch from above. And though kings and lords came offering gold for her, the boy refused them all. When at last the shepherd grew old and weary, he climbed to the mountain's peak. He opened his hand one final time, and the bird flew higher than any had ever seen. Up, up, until she vanished into the sun. Some say she became the first star. Others say she waits beyond the veil to guide falconers when their final night comes. The falconer bowed his head gently after the story, as though giving respect to that ancient shepherd. "Perhaps," he murmured, "we are all shepherds of something. Something we must one day release." For a while, nothing broke the stillness save the snapping of twigs in the fire. You gazed at the flames, letting their dance weave tales upon your eyelids. A comfortable quiet settled, deepening with each passing moment. At last, the falconer reached into a small pouch and drew out a wooden flute, carved simple but with care. Placing it to his lips, he played a low, meandering tune. The sound curled like smoke, rising and falling with the ease of breath. It was not a melody to stir dancing feet, but rather one that seemed to cradle the heart. The notes echoed softly across the meadow, returning like distant voices from the dark hills. The falcon shifted in her sleep, comforted, but did not wake. You felt the tune working upon you, slowing thought, smoothing breath, wrapping the mind in a shawl of calm. When the falconer lowered the flute, silence deepened once more, but not an empty silence. It was a silence that held the fire, had dwindled now, leaving glowing embers in its place. The shadows among the stones stretched long, distorted fingers reaching for the fading light. You rose, stretching, feeling the pull of rest tugging at your eyelids. The falconer stood beside you, his silhouette framed against the dying embers. "It is late," he said quietly, "and the path calls us onward." You nodded, though no words passed between you. Understanding hummed in the air. The forest waited, moonpaths beckoned, and the stars wheeled overhead, patient and eternal. Trusting the darkness, trusting the journey, you reached for the falconer's offered hand. Together, you stepped away from the firelight, into the vastness of the waiting night. He led you easily, silently, deeper into the meadow's heart, where the grasses grew tall and the trees huddled close. Overhead, branches wove a sheltering canopy, hiding you from the moon's watchful gaze. In this secret place, the woods breathed freely, the leaves rustling tales as old as time. The falcon, perched upon the falconer's wrist, twitched an ear, sensing the whispers of the ancient trees. As you walked, the forest seemed to part for you, the underbrush yielding, the trunks parting like welcoming arms. The air hummed with life, with creatures stirring in their lairs, with roots sipping deep from the earth's cool breast. Even the silence sang here, a song of secrets and solace. of stories the trees had held for centuries. Here, the weight of the world fell away, leaving you lighter, freer. Here, beneath the sheltering boughs, time itself slowed to the rhythm of rustling leaves and distant birdsong. Here, in the emerald hush of the woods, you found a peace that settled deep within your bones. After what felt like hours, or perhaps only minutes, the path began to shift. The trees thinned, revealing a sliver of sky, pinpricked with stars. The falconer stopped, turning to you, his eyes shining in the starlight. "We reached the place of paths," he said softly, "where many ways converge. Which road you choose is yours alone to walk." He gestured to the clearing before you. In its center stood a great oak, its branches gnarled hands reaching to caress the sky. At the oak's base lay 3 paths, each veiled in shadow. One beckoned with the whisper of running water. Another sang with the murmur of bees and the rustle of wings. Yet a third called with the scent of pine and the promise of distant peaks. Before you could voice your thoughts, the falcon took flight, circling once above the paths, then disappearing into the velvet night. The falconer turned back to you, his expression grave. "She chooses the path of water," he said quietly. "Will you follow?" Without another word, you knew what you had to do. The choice, though difficult, was clear. You nodded, determination steadying your voice. "Lead on," you said, and he did. Hand in hand, you walked together along the river's edge. The current flowed smoothly beneath you, guiding your steps as it meandered through the dark. The sound of rushing water filled your ears, weaving a soothing melody that eased your troubled thoughts. The falconer squeezed your hand reassuringly, and you drew strength from his steady presence. The path of water led you through sun-dappled glades, where flowers bloomed in vibrant hues and butterflies danced gracefully amidst the petals. You marveled at the beauty that surrounded you, finding solace in the tranquil atmosphere. As the sun climbed higher, you felt your spirits lift and your burdens grow lighter with each passing moment. Emerging from the embrace of the trees, you found yourself at the edge of a vast meadow, bathed in the golden glow of sunrise. In the distance, majestic, snow-capped mountains pierced the sky, their peaks wreathed in mist and legend. The river of stars, winding through the heart of the meadow, was a sparkling river, reflecting the brilliance of the morning sky. Its waters shimmered like liquid starlight, inviting you to pause and admire its ethereal beauty. You sat upon a nearby stone, watching as the river flowed serenely towards the mountains, carrying with it the promise of new beginnings. As you basked in the tranquility of the scene, you noticed a small cottage nestled amidst the trees along the riverbank. Its windows twinkled like stars, beckoning you to approach. With a mixture of curiosity and anticipation, you followed the winding path leading to the cottage door. Upon entering, you were greeted by a cozy interior filled with the aroma of fresh baking bread and sweet honey. A crackling fire danced in the hearth, casting flickering shadows that played across the walls adorned with herbs and flowers. An old woman sat peacefully by the fire, her eyes twinkling with warmth and wisdom. Her weathered hands rested on a wooden table laden with simple yet nourishing food. She welcomed you with a gentle smile, offering you a place by the fire to rest and share in the warmth of her humble abode.